it's gonna be
Exactly.
whatever she
It's
gets.
gonna
a
be-
kid has it or
Yep.
whatever,
Oh,
and
yes.
you're just like,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
I can
Not nice.
participate,
Yeah.
but
And I used
let's
to,
not go
I used to get real
meet
upset.
with everybody.
Right.
You've got somebody sick at home and
Yes.
could potentially.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, it's great. I think it's
Okay.
really
No, it's
wonderful.
6:30.
It's 6:30.
I'm looking.
Don't have a
for
quorum yet.
the parking
Yeah, I
lot.
don't see anything except the
I
light,
don't know,
the-
Brett-
I
I'm
know,
sorry.
the lights are nice and bright, I will say that, that parking lot is really well.
That's
Brett-
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
that's
he's doing the
good.
training.
they must shut off about
He finished it.
like a little bit after
So
7, because I get here
we
like
get, like,
7:15, it's pitch black.
Educator training.
I
or something.
can't remember if it's
Right.
specifically timed or if it's photo sensitive. I think it's timed and we have to change it occasionally because of,
As long as you
Daylight
don't
savings.
break it, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because I think I've taken the kids to school and they were on, and by the time I got
I
here, they're off.
don't know who knows, because
so can the people out in Zoom land hear us?
it is incredibly expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear you.
Yay!
I can hear you.
Yay.
Good.
So neat.
So we do not yet have a quorum, so we're just kind of hanging out
And I
to
was-
see whether anybody else shows up.
But it is, they can do so much, you know, it's just
Yes.
amazing.
I feel like it happened once. Where we
Oh,
knew it
there's
was gonna be
Tracy,
closing.
gosh.
And I'm trying to
Hi,
remember,
Tracy. I don't know if she's on, is she on?
She,
if somebody came late or if we just said informational and left. I'm trying to remember how we dealt with, didn't that happen to us once in like a July meeting? We
when,
didn't have a quorum. I know what it was. We
Do
called
you have all your people
Kathleen.
here,
and
or are
Kathleen
you
came
trying to
late so
hire
that we
somebody?
could,
yes, finish
we
business.
were in
We're trying to
Fayetteville.
hire,
Okay.
And she
just.
had just forgotten, I
Well, 'cause
think,
we-
because we didn't know
Yeah.
why she wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
So
did a
we're
lot
trying
of
to
stuff.
hire-
We did a lot of informational
Especially
stuff
so we
until
can
she
go to
showed
the
up.
Oh, okay.
And then we flipped, we just kind of
6 days a week.
went through
There's
the
no way.
information. I mean, then when she got there, it was like, okay, now we're gonna do some, whatever we have to vote
Just the
on.
past-
Well, and if we want to, we can do that kind of thing until the rest
I
of
mean, you could go ahead and talk about correspondence
correspondence. Yeah.
and,
Pretty.
Oh,
yeah,
soon
Yeah.
stuff we don't have to vote on.
yeah,
Correct.
announcements.
When would we do attendance?
Right now.
When we have enough?
After,
We can go,
There's only.
we
certain
can
things
do-
that she can
well,
do.
what-
And
we
I
can
mean, I
do
know.
attendance.
I've done it, I've done
Yes.
attendance, I just haven't called it, we haven't called anything.
So,
yeah,
but. we've had some-
yeah, well, we can't call, I mean, if we called it to order, we'd have to say there's not a quorum. So
And then
I
we'd
would,
have to keep track
It's
of when
just a
everybody came
crazy
in.
yeah, so I wouldn't bother doing that.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna go ahead and since we don't have to vote on correspondence, we're gonna go through, oh, wait a minute, I see tail lights.
Looks like a little SUV.
That
Could be that.
might be Kathleen. I feel like that's, did she had like the Lincoln SUV?
Backing up. It's going pretty fast to be.
Unless they just-
Maybe because they're, we're late.
Maybe they're dropping her off. Maybe she's afraid to drive, thinking it's gonna.
They flew by and then they backed up.
Oh,
Unless they're doing the book.
well, I did my old lady parking, so I'm not even old.
You're already.
You're straight. I'm right next to you.
There's
We're
so
both
many
under the
spots.
light.
Well, you know, I thought, I'm not gonna do this. And then I thought, oh, heck, who's gonna care whether I'm parked on 2 lines or 1 line?
Not anybody,
Whatever,
not anybody in this big room.
Nobody tonight.
nobody.
It might have been a book drop.
Okay, I'm gonna get that. No, no, don't trip yourself on this, but I'm putting it here so you can
No,
pick you
she's
up
gonna
better.
be-
I don't want the microphone by me.
Now, I see the light, well.
I
It's dark.
The books.
yeah, it
Lynn
looks like
found this
they're
for me, but
moving
it
on.
was, there were like
Moving on.
4 of them,
Announcements and course.
and they were all
Okay.
occupations. And,
Yeah, we
but
just
this doesn't.
do all
give me any
that other little
clues.
stuff.
Walk around this, I'm trying not to open it up.
That's correspondence.
Correspondence. We'll do the correspondence.
Correspondence?
Yep, correspondence. So Public Library Fund was just over $126,000. Our share just over 78,000. And dollars are still coming in high, a little more than 11% over what the Department of Taxation's estimates were. You know, I think we need to continue to operate, proceed with caution because while it may not be a bubble that bursts, you know, I expect there will be some corrections down the road in our economy. I just want to make sure that the board knew that staff have expressed their gratitude for both the personal time that was approved for the part-timers and for the wage increases. Very, very grateful for that. And then as far as Ohio Library Council, COVID test kits are scarce. And that's our supplier, the Department of Health, has said that we probably will get some more maybe at the end of the month, perhaps, but they are allocating the short supply. I mean, if they're in short supply nationwide, and trying to make sure that schools get those so that, they can keep schools in session in person. However, we do know that recently the federal government did roll out the ability for people at, I don't know what they call it, official residential addresses that could be verified. You can order them for those addresses. So, and you can place your orders now, but if they are saying it may be a couple of weeks before they actually start shipping and arriving. So hopefully that's another place that can kind of take the place of what we have been doing at the libraries. There is a trustee workshop planned. They do this every year. And it is either in person or online this time in March 12th. They've announced that the convention for OLC is going to be in Toledo this year at the end of September. I believe that's during the same week as the Brown County Fair. I don't know why they don't consult us about when the fair is. So we don't have a conflict going, but we'll see about attendance at that event. And then, I'd say this is the bigger one. House Bill 43 was actually introduced last year in the state legislature. And it's about allowing virtual attendance and actually real participation for public bodies. But it kind of got set aside, but this would give that kind of a permanent way for us to conduct meetings in pandemic conditions or even in inclement weather or other reasons why people couldn't make it, on site. So I really encourage you, if that's important to you, to contact your state legislators, Dr. Johnson in the Senate or Adam Byrd in the House of Representatives, and let them know.
A little less list of all the things we have to tick off for get him in the loop.
Yeah, just, let them know what's important to
The
you.
library trustee workshop, when do you need to know for registration?
Probably by the end of
February.
February.
So the February meeting.
Yeah, I'll bring that up again, I'm sure. in
Yeah.
February.
Somebody's coming in.
So,
I hope it's 2, not 1.
so that is
Harold come by
correspondence.
himself. I'm hoping it's
I think it
clean
might
and
be
soon.
Harold.
And let's see, what else can we do?
Announcements.
We can do announcements, absolutely. I think we can even do the building report and statistics if you want to, since we do not.
Can we okay the past meetings?
No, because you don't have a full quorum to
Oh.
vote, so
Well, this is gonna be a short meeting.
it
then.
might be.
Another car just pulled in park, so I think we'll have enough.
We
in a
might get there.
All right.
Oh, there's Harold.
Hey, Harold,
Come in.
sit with me.
Yeah.
What's going on in the meeting room?
Nothing's good. Well, what is going on? She's got her Marvel trivia that she's getting. Is that what she's getting ready for?
No, I'm just trying for you guys to avoid seeing the millions of boxes of food and
Oh,
everything else that's kind of,
yeah, it's easier to spread out here, out in the open. Actually, it is, yeah.
Hey, it's a step above total chaos.
It's a step above total chaos.
I wouldn't mind. It's not a big
Oh,
deal.
my goodness. So we don't have a quorum yet, Harold, so we were just
Okay. The
talking
lights
about
went out, so-
correspondence.
They got out of the car.
Did you see
Okay.
another car?
Okay, well, I need to go out and get my mask anyway.
Okay.
I have masks here.
Is
Paper
everyone
masks,
here?
okay, or do you want one of
Yeah.
the cloth ones?
Okay.
Whatever.
And then I don't know if you had heard about John Luty's wife, Elaine.
No,
She passed away and the visitation is this evening, but if you want to sign a card, I'm going to be sending that to him.
Lynn, would you please add my name to that?
Got it.
She speaks.
Hey,
Hey.
hey, ladies.
There's one here and I think there's
Yeah,
one
I'm gonna
there.
Slide your pen. so
Oh,
that
yeah.
Catherine's
Here, I'll get
got a
over here.
place to
Oh,
sit.
okay.
How about I have a picture?
Fine, sounds good here. Sue, you get to do the.
Brown County
Yeah.
Opoly. That looks like fun.
Yeah.
Remember she talked about it.
Gee.
What? I
Go on
can
my-
take charge?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't see
Harold, I
my
had a-
email
I
message.
did not. I've been gone all day.
Sue, I had a typo in my quarterly report, so there's a fresh copy.
Okay.
Yes. And there's a new
You're glad I came, huh?
new for tonight.
Hi.
For tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and terrific. Thank you very much, Harold. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right.
Copy?
Sure,
yeah.
I don't
think I have enough paper there for two.
Yeah, how many, you don't, I don't.
He was a
yeah.
former
Copies do you want?
trustee, so
Okay.
I'm just sending a card.
Thank
If you
you.
want to sign, please feel free. and I'll give it to
Views
Catherine.
from the days of.
And then that last.
Prior to me, I think it was
Yeah.
on the board before it
I
became
think
Before
Grant County.
Shelton,
Not next
you know,
month,
Mary P. Live.
but the next month.
I always think of him and
So I'll be a
Together.
little caught up.
Mhm.
I used to be done, now I haven't been reading.
All right.
Do you know that John Luty's wife, Elaine,
Who,
John Luty's wife,
Yeah.
Elaine passed away last Friday.
oh my.
Yeah.
Where's the agenda?
Um,
what are you looking for?
Agenda?
I have another one if you want.
And
I have one in there.
I know.
Right in the
I
beginning.
know. I just
Now
put this
there's
out.
that.
Well, did we manage to miss it?
Okay, that's
No.
it.
If you signed it already.
I did.
No.
Okay. Well, I think we have ourselves together now.
She forgot to put it in mine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
She
it
didn't think
could
I was
be.
gonna have anything I had to do. Okay.
well, that's good. All right.
So Mark does send his regrets. He was, I think they scheduled a last minute, some makeup basketball games and he's the statistician, so he
And then
he
what happens?
apologized profusely, but he wanted Sue to have something
Don't
extra
track it. I mean,
tonight, so.
Give her some experience.
There you go.
Everybody else,
Yeah.
everybody
I think we
else.
got everybody else. Yes, thank you
I
very
love
much.
your sign, your shield,
Thing shield,
not
whatever
your
the
sign,
thing
your
is.
shield.
Careful there, don't trip on that cord.
Place is a hazard right now.
Yes, it is.
So we'll have a call to order.
Alrighty, so Sue,
Yes.
Kathleen,
What'd you say here?
I guess that
present?
roll call.
Whatever you want.
Whatever.
I'm present.
Barb,
Present.
Karen,
Yeah, here.
Harold,
here,
and Sue. Or I already said.
Yep.
Everyone.
And Tracy.
And
And
Tracy,
Tracy?
I knew I missed one. Sorry, Tracy, gotcha.
You just can't call her when it comes time to vote, that's all.
And do we have any public participation?
The managers are here either by Zoom or in person, so I guess if you call them public or staff, I would
Okay.
take your pick, right?
Yep. Do they have any participation at the moment?
They might chime in later if we ask them directly.
All right.
Otherwise, they probably are not gonna volunteer.
Approval of minutes of the December 2021 regular board meeting and the 2022 organizational meeting.
I move. Second.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Harold,
yes,
Karen,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes. And correspondence.
So you can see from our list that we brought in from the Public Library Fund, a little over $125,000. Our share was a little over 78,000. We're going to proceed cautiously because we don't know if the bubble that will burst or some economic corrections that'll be happening later on, but it's good to see that the revenues are still coming in strong, and that's good. Many staff members wanted to make sure that I expressed to the board how grateful they are for both the wage increases and also for those personal days and paid holidays for part-time staff. I think those were huge morale boosts and very much appreciated. And we may get to this later more, but COVID tests, we've been distributing them. Supply has run short everywhere. And now, of course, the federal government has rolled out the ability to order some online. So that's something that we hope for it to help, but we're not really sure that, our patrons, that's going to be necessarily beneficial to them, and we'll see whether that impacts us distributing them. But they had already kind of reallocated the short supply they had to make sure schools had them. So we ran out. We've been out for better than a week, I guess, now, and you don't know that it's going to be 1st of February before we might get some more. So the trustee workshop that is held every year is going to be on March 12th, and that's either in person or online this year. And so I'm sure that come February meeting in the middle of the month, that's probably by the time you'll need to make a decision whether you want us to register for you for that or not. And then OLC's annual convention is slated for the end of September, right smack dab in the middle of Brown County Fair Week. So we'll see how that all goes. And then the other big point I think that we all need to pay attention to is House Bill 43, which while right now it's quiet and has not, been reactivated, it was to make permanent those provisions for public agencies to be able to meet virtually. And so if that's something that we all believe is really important, we should be contacting our Senator Johnson and/or Representative Byrd about that to let them know how important that ability is, to groups like ours. So those are the highlights that have happened since the December meeting.
Okay, thank you. We have a financial report, Sarah.
Thank you. I don't have much of a voice, so bear with me. Appropriation summary for December 2021. Our salaries for the month were $57,597. That was down about $1,500 from November. Benefits, $14,945. That was up about $937. So we're right in the ballpark with salaries and benefits for month to month. Purchased and contracted services, that was $13,106. That was down about $8,081. We were paying less people from not having as many book orders that month, I think. Well, I guess that'd be library materials. Library materials and supplies, $26,124. Supplies, $2,753. That was down about $2,352. So total services for the month of December was down around $11,000 compared to November. Month-to-date expenditures for the month of December, $168,151. That was down $3,556 compared to November. Bank reconciliation worksheet. For the month of December, for receipts, I took in $104,993. My PLF for December was $77,861. I had a law library refund of $852. And then I received a donation for the Georgetown renovation from Cook for $26,400. So those are a few of the receipts that I took in. My payments for December, $173,131. bringing my adjusted bank balance as of 12/31, $1,164,100. I cannot talk today. $1,164,157. Struggle count. Outstanding payments for the month of December. All checks have cleared for December. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always stressful to go into the next year. So I'm happy to report everything has cleared as of today. General fund cash flow report. I already mentioned that my total revenue for the general fund was $78,423. My total expenditures was $114,528, leaving my cash balance for the end of December, $729,157. So we, in that little center of the page, you can see where we stand. I have a big exclamation point. We are in great shape.
Yeah, $380,000 over and above our minimum fund balance is very, very healthy, and
Yep.
so healthy though that we may want to think about planning to transfer some of that into some special funds later on, because you don't want to have it look too much out there that you don't have plans for, so.
Yep. Cash summary by fund, I already mentioned my expenditures for December was $168,151. The spreadsheet expenditure reconciliation report gives it kind of a breakdown of December. I had $97,225 in payments. You can see just how close my two payrolls in December were. They were both around 28,200. I mean, within $50 of each other. That's pretty neat. The board share retirement was $7,909. The Medicare portion of the board, $787. The board share for the health insurance was $5,868. You'll see the local taxes. I actually paid those for the quarter, so they're positive instead of negative this time. My December total expenditures, $168,151. Any questions about the payment listing? Like I said, everything is cleared, so yay.
Okay, I need a motion to accept the financial
I move.
investment reports.
I'll second.
I did want to just kind of go over the quarterly report real
Oh,
fast.
yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. This is my favorite report, so. I compared 2020 to 2021. I know last year was a strange year, or I should say 2 years ago was a strange year. But just to show you how good we're doing this year. Our public library fund, I brought in around $914,000. That's up $111,000 from 2020. So that's a big reason why we're doing so well. The Homestead Rollback, I'm up $22,551 between 2020 and 2021. Services from other entities, I'm down about $5,000 for that. And my other receipts, I'm down about $23,000, and that's because we've waived all the fines and fees.
Yeah.
So as far as the total general fund revenue, I'm up $105,616 from 2020. So that's awesome.
Yes.
Expenditures, salaries, we were up 69,850, and we're comparing, having people on furlough to having full staff. So I think that's why that's so high. It's going to be higher because of salary increases and things like that, but
No.
so
Well, and
that's-
even looking at 2019, if
Yeah,
you want to
there's not-
skip 2020,
Yeah.
you've got some, I think, a little closer comparison.
less than 20,000.
Very different. Okay.
So employee benefits, that is up about $16,000, same kind of thing. If you look back at 2019, we're about $10,000. So 2020 was just strange.
Yeah.
Library materials and other services, I'm down about 1,700 for that one. Capital outlay, I was down $480. Other operating expenditures, I was up $9,521, and then we transferred a little bit more money than we normally do. So my total general fund expenditures was up 120,632. So good shape.
Mhm.
Yes.
Sorry. So we have our motions. I'll just run through the Kathleen.
Motion to accept.
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes,
and Sue.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the executive director's report.
So you were provided with the building report, which included some pictures of our favorite Mrs. Claus doing her thing and some other holiday activities there. I didn't know if you had any questions. You do have a couple of managers available. If you had anything specific you wanted to ask about what was going on at the branches. Now, I don't see anyone unmuting to offer anything at this point in time. Okay, the holidays seem like so long ago in some way.
I know, I'm like trying to think back, what happened in December? And then I look at my pictures and go, oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at
cute,
that.
cute, really. Pictures are great.
No questions, comments about building report? If not, we can go on to statistics.
Okay.
So in this packet, you actually got a lot of the individual reports that we just do internally for our own administrative uses, but I like on a kind of a quarterly basis. I've been asking them to be rolled out in the board packets. So you can kind of see, and I also had asked to, where possible, to leave the 2020's annual numbers in so you could kind of compare those as well. We have not yet finished all of the final numbers. You know, it's about this time and, you know, in roughly 6 to 8 weeks where we're going to have to submit a report to the state library with all of those numbers. So I haven't really delved far into them at this point, but you know, one of the ones that jumped out at me is the hotspot usage. And if you got paper, it was the gray sheet of paper. The difference, and you know, granted, we did add capacity, we increased the number available, but you know, that was almost an 80% increase between 2020 and 2021 use of hotspots. So we're not seeing that, you know, when you look at the monthly numbers, you know, those are not going down any, you know, so still a very much needed service in this area. Ebooks stayed almost exactly the same. It went down by less than a single percentage point. And then the chat numbers, which are on the goldenrod paper, there were quite a few, you know, chat requests, and about 85% of those were asking about the availability of COVID tests. So, you know, it's serving its purpose, and if they can't get through on the phone lines, then they're going to find another way to get through and ask their questions. So, but yeah, I will give a little shout out to Amber, who did a little video clip of the phones at Fayetteville, and it was ring after ring after ring. I mean, as soon as the phones turned on, when the doors opened, the phones just started ringing at all the branches. But you know, that was a nice little comic relief from Amber. And if you're interested, we can, you know, probably send you a link to that so you can see.
Might be cute. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I debated about whether that's something we should post on our website, but I thought, you know, there are some people that would probably just not take that the right way.
I would not think
So,
that was funny.
yeah. So just a kind of a heads up, we did receive notice from the state library in December that the there are going to be new ways to collect data that's going to be reported next year. And so we have had to do some scrambling to do our internal forms so that we can collect data differently that's going to be reported at the end of 2022. So that means that we're going to be changing up your pink form a little bit so that we can put the new categories and things that they want us to count in certain ways. And I will just say this really, a lot of it is program related. And a lot of it is driven by the fact that so much of the programming nationwide now, there's a virtual component, and they want us to be able to count apples to apples between all the libraries to make sure that, you know, we are really tracking that correctly. So it's a little bit of a learning curve for all of us because they're throwing around new terminology in addition to new categories of things. But so don't be surprised that probably next month you'll see some changes to the reporting, and we'll go over those then. There's no point in talking about them too in depth right now. So, questions? Thoughts? Guess we can keep on moving.
Okay. Move on to announcements.
Oh, announcements. Oh, it's still me. Okay, all right. Well,
You're not done
I
yet.
thought that was done.
Almost,
All right.
almost.
So if there's anybody on site who needs an announcement sheet, I've got them printed here. So, you know, you can pass those around if you want. A couple of things I want to point out on this list. One of the new discoveries at Georgetown was that it was getting really cold in the old part of the building. And apparently a thermostat was removed from the downstairs when they did their reclamation after the initial water damage. And the boiler that feeds that old part of the building was not on and working. And Tanya, you know, if I misstate something, you can, you know, please correct me. So we've got our normal HVAC guy working on that to make sure everything's running. There are going to be some valves that are going to have to be replaced. But we've also asked him to make some written assessment of whether this was because one of the reclamation companies came and did something they shouldn't have, and therefore insurance should be taking care of this kind of thing. But for now, we're getting it taken care of because we need heat in the winter. And then 1C on this list is something that, you know, we've been planning on, and every year we've been trying to replace some of our older parking lot lights with the new LEDs, and we've got one light left at each of the branches. So that's part of our capital improvement plan, is to have those changed out. Obviously, we're not going to do it in the dead of winter, but that will be coming. Funding opportunities, E-rate windows opened up, so we'll see what's going to be new to help fund our internet. Obviously, that's a no-brainer that we do every year, but it may be time for some of our network to be upgraded, and so that funding can help support some of the equipment and labor that goes into those activities. And then just to let you know, we had to really jump through some hoops for that emergency connectivity fund that's underwriting some of the hotspot costs. You'd think, since we participated in E-rate, that it was, you know, going to be really easy and the system just all worked, but no, with this new grant, you had to get authorized through some other agency. And I mean, okay, well, I did this. Well, but before you do that, you have to do this. And then you have to wait for somebody to respond from the federal government. But finally, we're ready and we can get money back. So this is good.
Good.
Pandemic conditions, number 4. So, you know, COVID's hit everybody, including the libraries. And so don't be surprised to see us announce that, you know, certain buildings are going to go to curbside only for whatever period of time it's necessary to do that, because, people have to quarantine and all of that. And obviously, meanwhile, we're continuing to do what we need to do to keep each other as safe and not spread things around as much as possible. So I am thinking very strongly about encouraging those members staff members who are authorized to work remotely to do it more frequently than they have been doing, just to keep more people out of each other's way for this particular surge. So, and then number 5, we're going to start including some board education in each of our board meetings, a short little presentation by somebody on staff about something that we're doing so that you can be more informed about all of the things that go on behind the scenes that really impact what we do every day. Our plan right now is for Heather to do something about COVID tests next month. So we'll see how things change there. And because we have some other things on that particular board meeting, we'll probably reduce it to about 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes worth of information. But if you have any suggestions about things you would like to know more about, we'd love to hear it so that we can develop those little snippets of sessions and roll them out to you. So please let us know. Talked about the new statistics, and then the other thing, interlibrary delivery services are, we're not the only ones who it's not working well for anymore. So we are, between our branches, exchanging materials again. We're not doing it outside of the county at this point in time. And I hope it hopefully never gets to that point, but apparently Northwest Ohio has also been hard hit by lack of deliveries, people coming, but all they're doing is picking up what we have and thousands of items in transit. And it was taking a month to get things from one of our branches to another. It started.
There was at least 4 instances where it took over a month to get from Georgetown to Mount Orb or Sardinia to Mount. I know.
Yeah. Where are they going? They're in some holding pattern somewhere. So just some of the things that we're dealing with. So that's all I got.
Okay. Committee reports. We have finalized appointments for standing committees. I don't know if you guys want me to read all that. It's what we did last.
Yeah, since Mark is not here and it's his job to appoint, I would say we just table that for another month.
So we'll table this until next month when Mark's here. And then number 6 is a motion to approve the contract with PowerNet for VoIP services, 36-month contract effective 2/26/2022 at the rate of $484.67 per month before taxes for 30 licenses and 30 lines.
So just for some information, this is the company we have already had 2 3-year contracts with. So they've been a provider for 6 years. Great service. We don't have call drops. We don't, the only thing I really didn't like was that the contract fee went up by 18%. And our salesperson, our representative did go back. He talked with engineers. He even called the CEO to see about getting discounted rate, but apparently we're already getting the nonprofit rate, which is about 18% lower than the for-profit rate. So, and we've already seen other kinds of services costs going up, but we will be getting, it's hard for me to explain because I can't entirely envision what's happening in the background, but basically we are licensing 30 phones and the software that goes to manage all those phones, because this is all internet-based. Before, our contract only included 15 actual feeder lines to service those, because we're not going to have all 30 of our phones in use at the same time, right? It's not going to happen because we don't have all of our staff on, working at the same time. But they do not do that anymore. They've restructured. So now we get 30 lines and 30 licenses. Okay. So my anticipation, as I've expressed it to him, is that we will be able to do more things with our phone system than we have in the past, since we're going to have to pay for this new, pricing structure. And, because I can't say I don't want that many lines. We had 30 lines with the 30 licenses. So that's the explanation behind it. And I do not want to change providers at this point in time personally.
Can I have a motion for that? Okay,
A second.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes,
Karen,
Yes.
Sue.
yes. And then we have property disposal. We need a motion to approve the disposal of
I
property.
move.
Go ahead.
Barb,
I'll second.
That was easy.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes,
Karen,
Yes.
Sue.
Yes. And then we need the Georgetown facility report update.
Sure. Tanya, did you want to start? Do you want me to start? How would you like to do this?
Silence.
Can you say that? Can you say that one more time? I missed what you said.
Do you want me to speak? And then if I miss anything, you can jump in?
Yes, that would be great.
So we met with, well, you've already heard about the thermostat. And so there's another thing we have to go back to the insurance company about. We did meet with library design. Was it just yesterday? It was just yesterday to finalize. Now that a lot of that background work is done, the elevator is this close to being finished. I know Tanya said that they were doing testing within the last day or two. So the elevator's on the verge of being finished, and with all of the cleanup pretty much done, except for a little bit of carpet that's still on the floor way in the far part of the old building. Everything is done and ready for drywall to be repaired, then paint can start and all of those things. So library design's job is not so much that, because the Rumpke restoration will be doing the painting and those kind of fixing things. But library design will be doing things like the flooring and the shelving and replacing any of the furniture that got damaged. So he came, our representative Matt came to look at that and go over final things with us. We actually finalized some finishes, some colors, some different things about tile. We did ask them to put in some additional lines in their final proposal that will include things such as turning our 2 restrooms downstairs into unisex restrooms and having tile up, midway up the wall to help with ongoing sanitation and longevity. So we're looking at things like that. There's going to be what was the genealogy history room is going to be a gaming room. And so some, locking console will need to be in there, and then those materials will be moving upstairs. All of that old paneling in the old part of the building is going to be gone. We're going to be replacing it with drywall so it can be painted and you can do more things with it. So there's a lot of stuff, and all of the freestanding shelving will now be on casters. So we won't have long ranges like the ones there. They may be relatively the same height, but they'll be in single units on locking casters so that it'll be much more flexible space. We'll be able to move them around.
Oh, nice.
And the shelves themselves will have built-in, but adjustable dividers. So there are not going to be so many freestanding bookends anymore. There'll be like little compartments within each set of shelving. So like the ones that are hanging down, the ones you have to squeeze and move around and put, we will really not need those so much anymore. So it's the opportunity to upgrade. Obviously insurance is going to cover whatever it covers, but this is our opportunity to say to our funder, here's what it really takes to set us up for the next 15,
Yeah.
20 years. So those are kind of the major plans that I remember. Oh, and in the kids area, the tables will be flip top tables so that the tops can actually be turned and locked, and they will be on casters. So those can also be rolled out of the way for larger programs. I don't want to have any spoilers, Tanya, so I don't think I'm going to talk about any other things unless you want to spill the beans about some of the special stuff.
No, I think that would be best kept as a big surprise.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. So that's next month. That proposal will be here. I'm just going to tell you now, be prepared for big sticker shock. I mean, it's not going to be little dollars. I mean, I would not expect, I don't know what, 125,000, 150,000. What do you think, Heather? Any gut?
Well, I mean, think about Fayetteville. Wasn't it around $50,000 to paint and put carpet down in Little Fayetteville?
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
so, I mean,
Yeah.
this is the whole
This
downstairs.
is furniture, and
And this
library furniture is not cheap.
Right.
No, but that's a good price, Lynn.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
So-
good price.
So, I would say that's probably a low end of it, but just be prepared. This is not a little $30,000 makeover. So, we'll then have to obviously compare that with, what dollars we have on hand already, but we also know that we've got a funder who is willing to put more into it. And this is part of what we need to be able to say to them, how much do we need?
Yeah.
So we may need to be able to say, okay, we can authorize carpet and shelving first and, do other pieces in different layers, but that's what will be next on our list.
Lynn, I have a question.
Yes.
Have we ever got anything back from our insurance on what they're going to pay for?
We've received checks already from them.
One big check. You want a dollar amount? I
Um,
can look it up real fast.
They did major stuff, like they authorized the elevator and sent us money for elevator. They authorized a certain amount of general cleanup and gave money for that. The piece that Belfour, that first company that came in, they're not even,
Good.
they're dealing with them separately because that's
Okay.
Yeah.
a problem. There was not meeting of the minds there, but like, for example, I think that the materials recovery, the company first call that came in, that was roughly 13,000 and they authorized that. And so a lot of it has been done, but
Ohio Plan has given us a check for 130,000
130,000.
so far.
So, but there are still pieces. There are pieces of the part that the Rumpke restoration is going to do that had not been finalized, but we just saw something from Tanya that said now that they know exactly what they're doing versus what library design is doing, I think the numbers have gotten finalized. So we're running through that money. I mean, already paying elevator and this and that and the other. So, yeah.
Yeah, those are big. I cut big checks on.
Yes. So, yeah, it feels like finally, and of course, things slow down. COVID slows things down, holidays slow things down, supply chain slows things down. So I think I can say with certainty that none of us are really happy about the fact that it's taking this long to get
But
it
I'm not
done.
surprised.
But yeah,
I'm not surprised.
it is what it is. And the staff are doing a really good job of trying to make sure that their patrons are communicated with, that they're offering various services to help. They move some kids' materials upstairs. They're trying to, make people feel comfortable in this, working space. And they themselves they don't have a meeting room. They've got, one workspace where practically all of them have to do their, thing, and they take turns, using desks. So it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It really is. Tanya, what did I miss? Anything?
No, I think that's about it, except that we are going to go to Columbus did you say that? Okay, we're going to go to Columbus to finalize some of the things at the shop there where all the samples are, so we can actually see them in person. But I think that's about it. Elevator is just about finished. We're still waiting on the parts to come in for the electric, and then we'll have to have inspections and everything. But I did hear it running today, and it did move from floor to floor. So that was like a really big.
Good sign.
Oh, it's the little things in life, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that. Any other questions? I mean, that was a good question. Yeah. So we have had some money and, but they're still little tweaky things
Yeah.
that, and there are some equipment things that they haven't finalized that they're going to have to send us some money because they were destroyed and, yeah. So. Nothing more from me on that.
Okay, and I will entertain a motion to enter executive session to consider the employment of public employees.
So moved.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Harold,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
and Sue.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to